Hottest day of the year, and Rocky and I have decided to start working on the winch. So the first thing you have to do with this beast, you got to disassemble the whole front end, which parts are laying everywhere. If we get it back together, it'll be a miracle. Headlights, everything. We broke a couple of the clips, but you know, that always happens, and that's easily replaced. Then you have to get this ACC, which is the Assisted Cruise Control relocation bracket, because otherwise it'll block it. Not quite sure why, but it will. So we did that, and Rocky is going to be dremeling this all out right here. You can see where my lines are. That gets cut, this gets cut all the way up here so that the sensor will fit in there. And then the bumper is sitting up on the truck, and it's about 88 degrees outside. Do you want me to hold it somehow? Usually the answer is no. So Rocky and I have been working really hard on getting the rig ready for overlanding out west this fall. So this is called the Morphlate. One of the sources of irritation with airing down, and you want to do that when you're on rocks and stuff, is it's a pain in the butt. So there's different ways of doing it, but we decided to invest in the Morphlate, which it's a really strong air compressor, and you can do all 4 tires all at once, airing down and airing up. So they connect by a quick connect, which is very cool. And then they each have covers on those quick connections to protect them from dust and stuff. And then you use your batteries. So we're trying this out before we need it so that we know what the heck we're doing. So Rocky's gonna attach it to the positive and negative of the battery, as that's how this guy runs.
Find a spot I can hook on.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it? There we go. And then we'll do the negative.
Always put your hot one on first.
Thanks, Rocky, for telling us that.
And the quick couplers go onto the valve stem alone. You don't need another quick coupler.
That's a good thing to know, because Rocky was asking if we needed to have quick connect valve stems, and it turns out you don't, but they are quick connect connections on the hoses, which is really, really cool. No trying to screw them on and stuff. So now he's gonna flip it on. It's got a gauge that's battery operated.
We don't know. This is the valve.
Yep.
We don't know if it goes this way or this way.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing it now, so that we don't
there will be a black arrow on it in a little while.
Well, that's nice. It's not really loud.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Is that...
No, it's gotta go this way then.
Okay. There we go. And then I believe you can set that thing so that it stops when you put a certain amount in. I believe there's a setting in there, but we haven't played with that yet. And this air compressor should be strong enough to do the tires on the rig, right?
120, that is. I think it goes to 150.
And then we won't have to drag around our huge pancake air compressor, which is a major. Oh, well, Rocky will anyway, because apparently we don't have enough weight in the rig. The other thing we did, which was a major pain in the butt, was we got this winch installed with the winch plate. This is an open road, 13.5K. Yes, it's overkill, but it's cool. It's wireless remote controlled and wired remote. So it's got a wired remote that plugs in right here. And then we can use the wireless. And if you're going to get a winch, make sure you get the kind that has the rope and not the cable. Why are we using the cable or the rope instead of a cable on the winch?
It's easier on your hands, easier to pull out.
Okay.
But see, it wraps up better.
There you go. Okay. Let's see. We had to relocate the assisted cruise control sensor. So that was down behind the winch, and it is now right there.
Let me turn this off.
Can't really see it. So that still works. One thing that does not work is this parking sensor. And we tried to move the winch over as far as we could without kind of wrecking the balance on the front end. And you can't. So I just turn it off every time I get into the rig. It's kind of a pain, but that's the way it goes. The other thing we did was we have our little Iceco refrigerator installed on a tray, which is incredibly nice. And we've been using this for picnics with Max and Jennifer, which has been really cool. We ended up purchasing a Bro Addict tailgate table. So this guy's really cool, and it locks in nice and tight. This is a no drill tailgate table. So hold on and I'll show it to you. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. So this is what it looks like. This is a little extension you can put out. So we actually used this at the lake the other day with Jennifer and Max, and it was great to have all the food and stuff on there and use that as our table because the picnic tables were all taken. And then I'll put this back together. Oh, there is some foam stick-on stuff behind this. This is a no drill version. Like I said, it utilizes the holes you already have in the tailgate of your Bronco. And I see we're missing a washer, it looks like here, so I'll have to take care of that. But anyway, there's foam padding behind it so that it doesn't rattle. And I'll tell you, it doesn't. We haven't heard it rattle not once. It's nice and tight. Okay, so we aired down, aired back up, didn't take long, and this is how this hose is going to come off. Bink, and you're done. So easy. And then they send you these caps that are protectors for those quick connects so you don't get sand and dust and stuff, so we're going to install those. Okay, we've got the plastic caps on, and then the hoses and the gauge fit right into this little case, which is really handy. Then the other modification that we did is back here, so let's shut that and we'll close the tailgate. We have a spare tire rack. Okay, so we put that on there. There's a limit of 100 pounds that goes onto that tire with the holder on the rig. So that is made out of really lightweight aluminum. And yes, it was pricey, but it's worth it. And then these are the Molly panels on the side that we'll be putting our Rotapacks. Come over here. Gas cans on, and that's right there, so I'll be installing those next. And that spare tire rack, we will be putting this Overland Vehicle Systems dry box on to hold lightweight things like our clothes, the dog stuff, or whatever. So these, if I can get it open, got to take the tape off of here yet. This is heavy duty. Wait, my finger's in the way. So this is a dry box, okay? Now, this bracket, you may be asking, is going to get mounted on the top of the dry box. And that is where we're going to be putting the Starlink. Back in the Bronco, we'll open the back end up again. We ran the wire through the back end of the tailgate, and it's just sitting here right now. And we've got the wire mounted back in. It's back in here. It's just a holding place for it now. And then we waterproofed it so it wouldn't get wrecked or anything. I think I'm going to have Rocky check these again because I tightened them up and I don't know if I went that tight. Probably should torque them. Then I don't know if I covered this at all, but we have two covers in the back, the passenger area, for a couple of reasons. One is the dogs, of course, and then of course we have our grandson, and he can be a little messy. So we have this bottom one, but then for the dogs we have this top one, so it kind of keeps the seats protected a little bit. And let's see, I'm trying to think of if there was anything. Oh, on the inside, well, I'm using that mount for my phone, and that seems to be working fairly well so far, although I will tell you that the video that's coming off of that is pretty bouncy because that thing is so long. It jostles around quite a bit. And we've been through how many tents that we haven't liked? 3 or 4. I have another one coming that I'm going to stick with come heck or high water. Believe it or not, it's a Coleman, and it's supposed to be waterproof, but I'm probably going to spray it with waterproofing that I just learned about. And we'll get that taken care of. Sorry, I haven't been in the shower yet. We're contemplating getting an overlanding trailer, and we've looked at probably 50, 60, 70 of them. And there's actually one down in Wausau that's made here in Wisconsin that we were really interested in. But then when we started thinking about it, we're like, you know what? They're pricey, and we would rather take that money and invest in they call them a B+. So it's basically like a Winnebago View or a Navion, or we've looked at hundreds of those too. Anyway, this is what we're contemplating. So we're gonna do this overlanding thing, obviously, and we're gonna use a ground tent because I don't want to put a rack on the roof of the Bronco. I want to try to avoid that at all costs. So some of the things we've been hashing over is trading in the Brinkley on a Class C, for lack of a better way of putting it, but not your typical one. We like the Asadas. Irene Travels right now is using the Asada 6, and that's a nice rig. I don't know how much it is, probably way out of our price range, but something similar would be cool. But we would kind of like to stay in state parks. We miss that. We miss being in the state parks, especially here in Wisconsin, because they're cool and they're usually on water. And then when you go up to the UP, we have a ground tent, so we have a better chance of finding some place to stay in the summer because it's just packed in the UP in the summertime. Everybody goes up there. In fact, one of our friends, Marilyn, goes up there. Hi, Marilyn. Hope you're having fun. So ground tenting it is. The back of the Bronco, yes, is going to be packed. So I'm guessing it's going to be a little overweight in there with everything that we're putting in there. But I've been very conscientious of that and trying to stay lightweight. We've been using our Jackery with Max when he and I stay out in the tent outside, which is so much fun. I highly recommend it if you have a grandchild to stay out in the yard in the tent. We've been using the Jackery to run, like, charge my phone. Max uses his tablet because he listens to music and plays games before he goes to sleep and that kind of stuff. And that Jackery, I'll tell you, has been flipping amazing. So the solar panels are with it. And we ran it down to 78%, which is pretty typical for what we run on it all night. My little fan, my phone, Max's tablet, and then we plug in a lamp. So we have a lamp out there. So about 78% in the morning, and then I threw the panels on it just to see how long it would charge up, and it was like 2 hours. And in Wisconsin, the sun is not, real bright like it is elsewhere. And it was about 2 hours before I got up to 100%. I was really impressed. And the solar panels, actually, it tells you when you're at the best position for the sun. So that was pretty cool. I really like that little Jackery. It's pretty handy. So we're going to be ground tenting it for a while. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where Rocky's going to accept a little overlanding trailer. He doesn't want to stay in that for a long period of time. Me, I'd be fine with it. But he's not. So we'll see where that goes. So we won't be in it for like a week in this little ground tent or anything. It'll be a few days at a time, I would imagine. So if you guys have any suggestions or you have questions, I don't know about any other modifications we're going to be doing. I think we're good for now. The tent that I am getting now is 40 pounds, where the one we really want was the Gazelle T4. That thing is amazing, and it's got 2 rooms, which I want because it just makes it a lot easier with the dogs and stuff. But it's a lot of money, and it's heavy, and I'm talking 60 pounds, and it's like the case is like 6 feet long, and I can't get that in the Bronco, so we're not going to go that route. Anyway, hope you're having a great summer, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Lori with While We Still Can.